because women's their ability to view and sense the external world is not as keen as a man's. Like the feminine is more, their strength is sensing the internal world, like what's going on inside of them. And in sensing what's going on inside of them, that's what informs them about what's happening outside of them. So the way it works from a metaphysical standpoint is women judge the external world based on how they feel on the inside. If they feel calm and peaceful and happy and joyful and all that on the inside, their assumption is that everything outside of them must be cool, right? With a man, it's the opposite. We're saying, we're looking around, we're looking at bank accounts, we're looking at the neighbors, we're looking at what's happening with the wars and the government, and we're looking at all those things and our in-laws and all that kind of stuff, and we're analyzing that information, how our children are functioning, what our savings is looking like, and based on those factors, then we'll determine whether or not things are good. And if those things are in alignment, then we're like, it's all good. And that's the difference between the masculine and the feminine. The masculine looks externally. If everything is good and in balance externally and in order externally, then we feel good on the inside. When stuff is not in order, is not in balance, that's when we feel, you know, bad on the inside. That's when we get stressed out. That's when we have anxiety. You know what I'm saying? That's when we need to go get a drink. With women, it's the opposite. And the disconnect in communication, again, is like women, they'll be going through an emotional thing because they're sensing something. We're looking around like, what are you talking about? Everything's good. You know what I'm saying? Family's good, money's good, da, da, da. All this is good. Like we're chilling. And she's in some kind of da 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 da. And because she's sensing something that we don't sense, communication disconnect. And vice versa, because we're seeing something that she's not acknowledging as important. We're like, can't you see that, just getting ready to change here? You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Like, because she can't see, so therefore I need to go do X, Y, and Z. Because she can't see that or acknowledge that, then it's like there's a communication disconnect. Again, the foundation is what we're saying is masculine energy and expression is different than feminine energy and expression. We're saying men and women are actually different. There's very profound, visceral differences between the masculine and the feminine, between men and women, that we need to acknowledge and understand if we're going to be able to communicate with each other. Let's keep going. This is the entire foundation of the disconnect between men and women in relationships, and also the reason why men have a hard time dealing with their women emotionally and otherwise. It should be noted that although this seems like a serious problem inside relationships, it's actually of tremendous benefit when the couple is working together. Between the man and woman, everything is covered. Thus, nothing gets missed or unaddressed. The key, though, is each person recognizing each other's abilities and talents. What I'm saying there is like, it's actually a beautiful system because the reality is, and this is why men historically, especially men in power, like if you look historically at kings, men in power, they always had, intuitives and sorceresses and these people who could feel and sense the unknown. Because when you watch TV, if you watch certain movies, right? And let's say it's like a king movie, it could be Game of Thrones or whatever, or just it could be whatever, right? And what happens in a lot of movies is like on the outside, everything seems cool, right? But like there might be one person in the group who's like plotting and planning to overthrow things or bring disruption to the group. But they're like on this down low thing. You see what I'm saying? So on the outside, as a man, you're not seeing anything because everybody's smiling in your face. You see what I'm saying? So your assumption is everything is good. But what happens is the feminine, she's the one that picks up on this type of shit. She's like, something don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? And she might come to you as your woman or your queen and be like, yo, something doesn't feel right. Like I got a knot in my stomach or I had a bad dream or something like that. Like I'm not at ease. And so your job as a man is to figure, okay, well, what's happening? And the thing about it is what she's feeling is legit. The problem is, the challenge is a lot of times that feeling is not specific. It's not saying, oh, I feel like one of your generals is going to overthrow you. You see what I'm saying? So because it's not specific, it creates a little bit of a thing where you all got to work together. But the point I'm making is it's actually a beautiful thing when you can acknowledge that your wife has those abilities, right? And she can acknowledge that you have these abilities. Basically, what it means is the family becomes impenetrable. Nothing gets through, no surprises. You got the physical stuff. So when you see an army marching over the hill coming towards you, you can deal with it. You know, if something's happening inside the family, like somebody's getting ready to act up or to try to overthrow things or whatever, she's going to sense that and pick up on that. So that's what I mean when I say actually it's a great system. That's how things are supposed to work. And if you have that feminine element in there that's empowered and you understand that, then that works to your advantage as a man. Okay. Let's keep going. So if we go into our relationships and marriages with this understanding, it positions us to deal with our women in a more holistic way. Now the question is, what do each of her emotional expressions symbolize is happening with her in the relationship with the family or in the environment? Now our job as men is to unlock these keys and address them as they happen, which will support our wives in feeling safer, calmer, and protected. Because when we address the issues that are causing her to feel the emotions she's feeling, she begins to have faith in us as men. But when we can't figure out what's happening to make her feel this way, she feels even more unsafe in the marriage. This can, of course, spiral out of control to the point where she doesn't feel safe with you in general, which turns her off from you and makes her see you as an unviable partner. In addition, it will cause her to not feel attracted to you sexually either. But when we do recognize the cause of her emotions, the opposite is true. She becomes more endeared to us and more drawn to us sexually. So this is an important thing. And this is where, us as men, we need to just make sure we're clear. So she's going through she's feeling something, she's feeling these emotions, right? And we're saying that the trigger for these emotions is something going on with her, or something going on with you, or the relationship, or the family, or the environment, right? That's where this is coming from. So what you need to understand is that is a truth. It's a truth for her, but that's a truth. So think about this. If she's sensing that there's an issue and you're repeatedly not picking up on it, then she's gonna be like, yo, this dude's not on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when she understands the difference between the masculine and the feminine, and the fact that the feminine is picking up on these environmental things and whatever else, and the masculine's not, the masculine's looking externally. Even with that understanding, like continuously not picking up on this stuff. She's like, yo, I've been feeling this stuff off and on for the past couple of years. Like, this dude he's not on top of it. Like stuff's falling apart. And about to happen, or we're about to hit Armageddon or something, and he doesn't know what's happening. So that's what it is. It's no different than you seeing trouble coming over the mountain and your wife ignoring that shit. You're like, yo, we got to get up. We got to get up out of here, man. They about here come the zombie apocalypse. And she's like, nah, I'm good. I don't see any need to do anything. You see what I'm saying? So in the same way you would feel about that, that's how she feels when she's having her emotional stuff and you're not picking up on it, you're not responding to it, you're not figuring out where it's coming from. And again, you'd be like, well, how do I know that's true? This is the thing. When you're in a relationship, when you're in a marriage, like that's the contract. You know what I'm saying? Like that's who she is. That's what a woman is. That's why we're attracted to women, because they have these skills and these abilities and these ways about them that are not us. And that's how you create attraction. You don't create attraction by two people who are the same. There's no magnetism. There's no attraction there. You know, that's why heterosexual men are not attracted to men. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to get with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get with somebody who's not like me. So, I'm tall, I'm 6'3". I'm trying to get with like a 5'2" honey dip. You see what I'm saying? Like that's the differential that I'm looking for. And that's kind of how attraction works. So I'm saying is like you have these qualities as a man. She's got some different qualities like that. You might not understand that or realize it, but that's one of the reasons why you're drawn to her. It's because she has these different ways about her that you don't have.